an offensive output akin to the Brewers in his first preseason game, on a relative scale, to be clear. The fifth-round pick got the start and in 45 snaps proved to be productive. But after that impressive two-touchdown performance last Friday, the rookie is going to add to the laundry list of quarterback injuries in Cleveland. Sal Paolantonio has the latest.
The news on rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders of the Cleveland Browns is not good. Here's a statement from the Cleveland Browns. Further medical testing and examination on Shedeur Sanders revealed an oblique strain on Wednesday afternoon. He's considered day-to-day, won't practice on Thursday, unlikely to play in the preseason game against the Eagles on Saturday. After practice here at the NovaCare facility, Shedeur Sanders sought out Jalen Hurts for some advice.
Yeah, I keep the conversation intimate. We had a very lengthy conversation. He came to me and just, wanted to talk. And I'm always there, as said earlier, giving my perspective on what I see and how I've gone about things. And ultimately, it takes a great deal of patience and hard work and a sense of resilience. You got to want it. You got to want it. And so I'm supporting him from where I am and wishing him nothing but the best with his opportunities.
What we saw play out in real time here in South Philadelphia was a very interesting dynamic. Jalen Hurts, the Super Bowl MVP, giving advice to a rookie quarterback, Shedeur Sanders, who needed some guidance about how to handle the ups and downs of his first NFL season. And Jalen Hurts, who sought the advice of Michael Jordan all summer long, genuinely interested in helping Sanders navigate these very difficult times.
He's from that area. What's going on in Cleveland with the quarterback position right now as Shedeur Sanders is out of practice, unlikely to play on Saturday at Philly because of an oblique strain and is considered day-to-day. Let's start with this. What does that mean?
Well, it means that we're going to get an extended look at Dillon Gabriel and Kenny Pickett if those guys are healthy enough to go. So I think that's what we're looking forward to now. You don't want to have a guy disqualify himself from the quarterback competition in training camp due to injury, but I guess this is a fortuitous turn of events for those other guys in the Cleveland quarterback room, not named Shedeur Sanders or Joe Flacco. So you get extended looks. Yesterday, Kenny Pickett got the first-team reps. Dillon Gabriel got the second-team reps. We saw Joe Flacco do some first-team reps in 11-on-11 drills, but I think the most important thing is figuring out the pecking order moving forward. You didn't have a chance to make that proper evaluation after week one of the preseason because a couple of those guys didn't play. But now over the course of, the coming days, the preseason game on Saturday, you would have a 2-week span where you would have gotten an extended look in live game action at the three quarterbacks not named Joe Flacco that are in this race, in this competition, and you can make a determination from there.
So is this in some ways a blessing in disguise? And I ask this because Adam Schefter came on our show Tuesday, go back on the podcast and listen after 8 a.m. Eastern, and said, regardless of what Shedeur does, and he was awesome the other night, Flacco's going to be the starter. He also said, which you and he went back and forth 2 weeks ago about the idea of 4 quarterbacks on the roster. And then you guys ultimately agreed it's not going to be on the active roster at least. Okay, So somebody's got to be on the IR because nobody's getting through to the practice squad.
Yes, yeah.
Do they consider leaning into this out of a way to develop Shedeur and take away any fan pressure of let's IR him to start the season, almost as a QB in training? Because I still believe they believe in him. So keeping him fourth string and IRing him for 4 games to start the season is not a lack of belief at all. It actually may be the full belief. And say, we're going to have him watch. No matter what happens with Flacco, fans can't then be clamoring for Shedeur to play because he's not actually eligible to play.
Yeah.
And then we're in a situation where when he comes back off of the IR from this oblique, he may be ready to go. We may be ready to put him in. Does it actually, in a weird way, answer some questions for them?
Well, it helps the Cleveland Browns decision makers, right? It takes some pressure off of them because you don't have Shedeur top of mind because they're not seeing him on the football field. They're not seeing him in the actual preseason games. So you can understand why the front office, the coaching staff would want to temper the expectations, would want to maybe pull back in terms of not necessarily putting him out there sooner rather than later. Remember, Kevin Stefanski at the outset of this competition said he wanted a decision made sooner rather than later. Well, it's hard to land on Shedeur Sanders being your starting quarterback week one when you're talking about having a core muscle injury before the second preseason game. And those things are dicey, man. You have to do, when you're playing football, everything starts with your core. So if you're Shedeur, you're not going to be the best version of yourself even if you're out there. So it just makes sense in terms of protecting him, allowing the organization to get an extended look at the other guys. I think this is one of those things that can end up benefiting all parties involved, even though it might not seem like it on its face. You never want a player to have to deal with an injury, right? Because it interrupts their incremental improvement. But for Shedeur Sanders, with all of the hype coming off of the first preseason game, it might be in the best interest of the decision makers in terms of taking pressure off of them so they don't have to do something that they don't want to do early on in the regular season.
I think that's 1,000% correct, and I feel like that very well could happen. Now, this happened during joint practices with the Philadelphia Eagles. Star Eagles quarterback, Super Bowl champion Jalen Hurts had this to say about his conversations with Shedeur Sanders.
I keep the conversation intimate. We had a very lengthy conversation. He came to me and just, wanted to talk. And I'm always there, as said earlier, of giving my perspective on what I see and how I've gone about things. And ultimately, it takes a great deal of patience and hard work and a sense of resilience. You got to want it. You got to want it. And so I'm supporting him from where I am and wishing him nothing but the best with his opportunities.
There was a little mention there that I'm going to guess you took the same thing away that I took. He came to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what people need to see from Shedeur Sanders to be convinced that this young man wants to do everything it takes to be great in this league. He's going up to Jalen Hurts. You've done it at the highest of level. Twice you got to a Super Bowl. You just won a Super Bowl. You act in a way that is so unbelievable for a face of the franchise. Let's be honest, Jalen Hurts, face of the franchise, check. You'd love him to act that way as a father, as a son, as a husband. Like, this guy is perfect out there in what we see. Because I don't know. So Shedeur going up to him, love it.
Yeah, but also Jalen Hurts taking the time to speak to him.
That's not surprising at all to me.
Well, it's not surprising, but and here's the thing. When it comes to mentoring individuals, taking time out of your schedule to work with people, you're not going to go out of your way for somebody that you don't think has potential. And so the perception of who Shedeur Sanders is around the league, people believe that the kid has the ability to be able to get it done. It's more than just having the last name of Sanders and your dad being Coach Prime. It's that there's something to Shedeur Sanders. The way he goes about his business, the way people gravitate toward him. I think the substance of it all is what the Cleveland Browns front office and coaching staff see in the young man. And that's why I think they want to give him every opportunity to be as successful as he can when he gets out on the football field when the games matter. Now, ironically, Jalen Hurts in his rookie year started the final 4 games of that season, ended up being the guy moving forward. I think we can see something similar with Shedeur Sanders. I think it'll be a larger body of work in his rookie year, but it's a situation where I think there's a lot of learning